What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. This is Decoding with Cody with a live stream. Today is Tuesday, April 29th, 2025, one day after the blackout on April 28th, 2025 in Spain. And we're going to give people a few minutes to join in here. I see my girlfriend's in the chat. Love you. And also we got KJ Malone, brother. Glad to see that you're able to catch a live. And hello to Coffee Girl. Many blessings to you, Coffee Girl. Much love. Thanks for tuning in as usual. So, you guys, I've been on a heck of a trip getting back to Germany this time. So, I haven't had a chance to even decode this so much. You know, I just wanted to get out a video for you guys today. So, this isn't going to be the most extensive decode on this blackout because you guys know that on this channel, we've covered blackouts often. And we're going to talk about a lot of things today, specifically different angles of this, blackout, so they say. And we're going to go back in history and to some of my videos, and we're going to kind of, look at what happened in connection to my videos. Because on this channel, I've done at least, I don't know, at least 10 or 15 videos on blackouts. So if you guys haven't been watching the channel before, you might not have caught those videos. But thank you to all the 56 of you in here. Much love to Joseph Aquaviva. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Joseph Aquaviva 2222. And in fact, there's a few things I haven't even put in this decode that we're going to try to talk about. Will you guys remind me to talk about Leave the World Behind? Since Joseph's in here, we need to talk about Leave the World Behind. But again, guys, I've been busy, been traveling, so I wasn't able to put together all of these connections in a few hours. But I did my best to put together these connections, okay? And we're going to give another few minutes. Let a few more people trickle in. Please hit those like buttons if you're just getting in. That's always helpful. I'm not sure how to say your name, but Kral Jajaspek says, are you following the situation in Serbia? Well, I was just in Serbia, but I know that there's protests and stuff going on. So, but yeah, if you can inform me more about what's going on. I'm not informed as fully what's going on there, but I know that there's protests on something. I know that the Balkans are kind of chaotic right now. Zombieland says the blackouts are connected with 0 Day, the Netflix show. Yeah, I haven't looked into that even yet, but you are right. I'm sure they're connected to 0 Day. And again, we're going to take a look at all kinds of different shows and events that are connected to blackouts. But let's, for those of you just getting in, let's just overview what happened and then we'll get into it. So yesterday on April 28, 2025, at 12:33 Central European summertime. So this is the time zone of the Spain and Portugal where the blackout was. So the CEST time zone, okay? It was 12:33 when the blackout started, okay? And I want to give a big shout out to whoever it was who shared this with me. A lot of these connections I made because of your guys' help. So big shout out to all of you for giving me the ability to make better connections. Because without you guys, I would miss a lot of things. Let's put it that way. So never forget to share things in the comments because it's very important to finding these connections. But look at the time, guys. 12:33, the local time was the blackout. But let me just read through. At 12:33 CEST, a major power outage occurred across the Iberian Peninsula, affecting mainland Portugal and Spain. I think more Spain than Portugal, but also Portugal as well, where the electric power was interrupted for hours. So, April 28th at 12:33. Okay, so that's the first number I'm going to talk about. 12:33 p.m. Very interesting time for this blackout, and I'm going to show you why. So let me just jump into it. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Right. So look at this, guys. This is all connected to 9/11. Okay. That's because I believe that the United States will be faced with another 9/11 that could do with a cyber attack or blackout. And I believe that this Spain blackout could be pointing us into the future again, where the United States will get hit with a 0-day attack, which, remember, Netflix released a show earlier this year called 0 Day about the United States getting hit with an attack on the power grid. Now, remember, a few years ago, Netflix also released another show called Leave the World Behind, which also features a cyber attack on America. And this connects to 9/11 because 9/11 was the last attack on America. That's, the big day, 9/11, 2001. Okay. And this connects to Pearl Harbor as well. Will the next attack on America also start World War III or bring the United States into a war? That remains to be seen, but I think that could be a way that this plays out. Now, look at how many weeks it was yesterday after 9/11. Yeah, and that's a good point. Sojourn 137 is pointing out that Ignatius of Loyola was from Spain. Exactly, yeah. And we're going to talk about the Pope because do you think it's a coincidence, guys, that the Pope goes black? What happens when you die? I mean, what's the most best way to describe dying, guys? Well, you're going black. You're going dark. And the Pope just dies, and 2 days later, after his funeral, you have a blackout in Spain where Ignatius of Loyola was from, and he was a Jesuit, and Francis was a Jesuit. So yeah, good connection with the Spain and the Jesuits. But look at this. From 9/11, this is where we're going to start, guys. From 9/11, 2001 to April 28th, the blackout was exactly 1,233 weeks. Guys, they said the blackout happened at 12:33 local time. I'm like, whoever shared that with me, big pat on the back, but like, guys, is that not crazy? Out of all the weeks that this could have happened after 9/11, and the time that this happened at just happens to coincide with the amount of weeks that it's been since 9/11. Like here it is right here. 12:33 is when it happened. And this happened exactly 12:33 weeks after 9/11. Okay. I see. Sean, the first thing you do in the comments is drop a bomb. Okay. So obviously you've been looking into this. I haven't, again, but look at this, guys. 9/11 plus 322 is 12:33. Wow. I mean, this just makes my decode even more special. Thank you, Sean. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Widow's Son. He just blew it open. Look at that. 9/11 plus 322, the skull and bones number, is 12:33. This happened 12:33 weeks exactly after 9/11 at 12:33. I mean, Lorenzo, I'm sorry if I'm making it complicated. Am I making it complicated by looking at the time they said it happened and measuring it in weeks? I'm sorry if that's complicated. I don't know how to make it simpler. But look at this. I mean, this is huge, guys. I mean, 12:33 is the sum of 9/11 plus 322. So this was 322 weeks after the 911th week of 9/11. I mean, that's just insane. Let me just re-put that comment up here one more time for all of you guys to see, because I didn't even know that. I didn't even think about this. 9/11 plus 322 is 1233. And 1233 is the time that it happened. And this was 33 days after the 1028 days left. Okay, so let's look. Remember, you guys remember the 1028 days left? So that happened. 1028 days left ended on March 27th, essentially, around March 27th. Oh, before I get into that, I really want to point this out. Considering the 9/11 connections, okay, so it happened 1233 weeks after 9/11 at 1233. And if you go back 911 days from yesterday, it lands on Halloween, guys. Why is that important? Well, Pitch Black, Mountain Dew Pitch Black, was originally a Halloween drink. Okay? So just read it here. Mountain Dew Pitch Black was originally released in 2004, a limited time. Hold on. Where does it say Halloween? Yeah, see, look, the first edition of Mountain Dew Pitch Black ended on October 31st, 2004. Well, if you go back 911 days from yesterday's blackout, you land on October 31st, Halloween, which connects us to the Pitch Black, which was a Halloween drink. Like if you look up Mountain Dew Pitch Black, right here, Pitch Black Mountain Dew is a first flavor released for a limited time during the Halloween season. So this blackout happened, they go into the dark on 9/11 days after Halloween. You see what I mean? So 911 days after Halloween, it was, so if you go 911 weeks after 9/11, let's see where that lands us. Hold on. Let me just find that for you guys. Hold on a second. Oh, look at that, guys. So 911 weeks after 9/11 was 2025, the date 2/25/2019. So that means that after 2/25/2019 to this blackout was 322 weeks, which what Sean pointed us to earlier. So it was 322 weeks after the 9/11th week since after 9/11. And that's the Skull and Bones number. And again, this connects with the Pope's death, which was all connected to the 322. But again, 9/11 days ago was Halloween, and Halloween, the Pitch Black, was a Halloween edition. And so look, it's a 7/11 special edition. And we're going to talk a lot about the number 77 in this decode. And 7 times 11 is 77. So we're going to talk a lot about the 77. But let's get back to the slides. Thank you guys for adding amazing things. Again, let's just recap. 1233 weeks after 9/11 at 1233 local time, Spain goes dark, okay? And 9/11 plus 322 is 1233. Now, the number 77 was a huge number with the blackout yesterday because this blackout happened on a date numerology of 77, okay? And how do you get date numerology? You just add the date. 4, like April, plus 28, the 28th of the month, plus 20 plus 25 equals 77, okay? So this blackout occurs on the 77 date numerology. This is important because in the Wikipedia page for the blackout, they use the phrase major power outage. And the word major power outage equals 77. So we get a so-called major power outage on the 77 date numerology. And the word power, just the word power, which we often call electricity power, equals 77. Now, 9/11 happened on September 11th. If you type that out in gematria, it equals 77. And that day, the World Trade Center went down, which equals 77. Okay. On September 11th, Flight 77 hit the 77-foot tall Pentagon after it was in the air for 77 minutes. So the fact that this lines up with 9/11 is not a coincidence. 1233 weeks after 9/11, the blackout happens at 1233. This happens on 77 date numerology, which again connects us back to World Trade Center and September 11th, both equaling 77. Major power outage equals September 11th. Both of them equal 77. Okay, that's why I think it's possible that the next 9/11 for the United States, the next attack could be a cyber blackout power grid. Okay, that's what this seems to be pointing to, including the movies like Leave the World Behind and 0 Day. They all point us to this kind of narrative. And this is where it gets crazy because we're going to connect this to the snake years and historical power outages. Guys, there was a huge blackout of New York City in the year 77, 1977, the Great New York City Blackout. What if I told you that this power outage in Spain occurred 77 days before the 1977 power outage anniversary? Oh, wow. So not only did I connect all the 77s to 9/11 and to this power outage yesterday, if you go 77 days forward from this power outage on 77 date numerology, you land on the anniversary of the New York City blackout in 1977. July 13th, 1977 was the New York City blackout. I mean, wow. Like, this points us to that 77, right? And it points us back to 9/11. It points us ahead to the New York City blackout anniversary. What happened in New York City, guys? 9/11. What happened in New York City in 77? A blackout, okay? So this all connects to this 1977 blackout. And the reason is because if you guys have been watching my channel for years, I've been posting about these blackouts and the year of the snake. We are currently in the year of the snake in the Chinese astrology. And every time you have a year of the snake, you end up getting some blackout stories. All right. So you get blackout stories and you get this happens in the year of the snake. Okay. And here you go. So if you guys want to go back and watch my videos from the past about the connections I've already made with blackouts and snakes, okay? The reason that is because in gematria, the word blackout equals 85, the word snake equals 85. They have matching gematria, okay? But if you go through all the blackouts, you're going to see that all these things happened in the year of the snake. The 1977 blackout happened in the snake year. The September 11th event happened in a snake year. And now this year, this blackout in Spain happened in the snake year. Okay. So, but that's not it. Here is a video from me when I was barely getting 1,000 views a video. Thank you guys for giving me so many views to this. I mean, nowadays, you guys give me so many more views and I appreciate that. But if you go back on my channel to June 26, 2023, so almost 2 years ago, guys, 2 years ago, I made a video called Year of the Snake Blackouts, Past, Present, Future 2025. I made a video in 2023 about 2025 and blackouts. Okay, so now look at what happens. Now, the Chinese Year of the Snake is correlated to blackouts, and this is a picture from my video in 2023 linking all of the blackouts to snake years. Let's make this bigger for you guys to see. Let's make this smaller. Let's make this bigger so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So in the Year of the Snake, you always get blackouts. Let's go back to 1965. There was a Northeast blackout in 1965. That was the Year of the Snake, okay? In 1977, there was also a blackout in New York City, and that was the one I just connected to. This blackout on 77 date numerology was 77 days before the 77th anniversary blackout, okay? In the year 1989, there was also a blackout, but I didn't put it here. In 2001, we had the September 11 event. Okay, look, it says September 11th happened at 2:14 p.m. GMT time. That's interesting. I've been talking about that 2:14. But what happened? Okay, so how is this connected to the Pope? The Pope just died, okay? And the Pope became the Pope in the snake year, just like these blackouts happened in the snake year. The Pope died in a snake year. He became Pope in a snake year, and he died in a snake year. All right? Now, in 2013, the year he became Pope, which was a snake year, there was a blackout at the Super Bowl. Okay? So the year the Pope became Pope, there was a blackout at Super Bowl called the Blackout Bowl. Okay? So even if you didn't get a blackout in a major city that year, you had a blackout at the Super Bowl. All right? In 2013, when the Pope when the Pope was elected, right? So this all connects to the snake year. And that's the point I want to make here is I would not be surprised if we get more blackouts because it's a snake year. You have usually pretty big blackouts in the year of the snake. And again, if you guys want more details, you guys can go back and watch these videos from 2 years ago where I'm talking about these same subjects. Okay. All right. So this is where it gets crazier because I already connected this to 9/11. If you guys are just getting in here, this blackout occurred exactly 12:33 weeks after 9/11, and it occurred at 12:33 local time. And again, it happened on 77. The 77 connects to 9/11. But there's this show that I've covered for years now on this channel called 911 The Blackout, okay? So let's unpack this, right? You have the show called 911, another reference to the 9/11 guys. And 911 The Blackout is an episode about the show. In the show 911, it's called The Blackout, okay? Look at what the blackout equals. They titled it The Blackout. And the blackout equals 118. Well, what if I told you guys that the blackout yesterday in Spain happened on the 118th day of the year? Like the blackout equals 118. On top of that, in the show 911 The Blackout, the show is about the 118. Look at this. Read what it says there. The 118 springs into action when a citywide blackout and a record heat wave causes mayhem in Los Angeles. And just for the record, the city of Los Angeles is very connected to the number 118. Los Angeles, California equals 118. But with that being said, they called this the 118 springs into action as a citywide blackout occurs. And this was called the blackout, which equals 118. And now you have a blackout in Spain on the 118th day of the year. The blackout, 118. And this connects us back to the show 911. Okay, so this is how we get right back to the 9/11 connection. But look at this. Here's a picture from the show. And look, you can see that 118 plastered right behind them there. And look at how they're all wearing black, guys. Look at how they're all wearing black. They're all wearing black. and you got the 118, like the blackout equals 118, and then you get a blackout on the 118th day of the year. It's just crazy. So yeah, I mean, you got so many different layers, but we're not gonna focus on the 118 so much. But this could be talking about a blackout in Los Angeles, guys. Eventually, we could get a blackout in LA. All right. And I think the blackout in LA would not be quite good because you got a lot of people. Oh, do I have a comment still up? I always do this, guys. I always do this. Sorry about that. Okay, that makes it easier for you guys to see. The blackout equals 118. The show, The Blackout, it talks about the 118, the 118 unit going to the blackout, right? So now let's go back to the 911, okay? The 911. From the release of 911, The Blackout, to the blackout in Spain was 16 days. And guys, as soon as I saw this number, I knew there's something big here. Because 1316 is a huge number. Not only does Jesus Christ in reverse standard equal 1316, Jesus Christ's second coming equals 1316. The tetragrammaton in Jewish equals 1316. I've covered this number, but this is super important that the blackout show released 16 days before the blackout in Spain. Remember, this connects to the Pope who just went dark, right? He just died. And again, Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, he was Spanish, right? And look at this, guys. In Gematria, if you type out the date 11th of September, which is actually how you see it written a lot of times, that equals 1316. So from 911, the blackout, to the European blackout was 1316. 11th of September, 1316. Wow. I mean, that's pretty crazy. But it's going to get even better because I'm going to connect this once again to wrestling, okay? And the wrestling piece is so important here. Guys, when Roman Reigns lost his championship, it was after 1316 days. Okay? So the same amount of days as the distance between the blackout show and the blackout in Spain, okay? The same amount of days is when Roman Reigns, the star of the WWE, that's how many days he was champion, 1316. And he was beaten by Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, okay? So just wait till I'm going to connect this all to Philadelphia, okay? But the same distance between the blackout show and the blackout and the championship reign of Roman Reigns. Remember, we're talking about the Pope of the Roman Catholic Church just dying, and now we're making this connection to Roman Reigns, who held the championship for 16 days. So this slide is the slobber knocker, guys. This is crazy. Look at this. This show, 911 The Blackout, is intimately connected with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns' championship match last year in Philadelphia. So again, I told you, from Roman Reigns winning the championship to him losing the championship, 16 days. From 9/11 The Blackout to the blackout in Spain, 16 days. That means that from Roman Reigns winning the championship before he would reign for 16 days, he would win the title, and 386 days after he won the title, they released the show called The Blackout. Guys, in Gematria, blackout equals 386. What is the odds of that? Roman Reigns was champion for 386 days, and they released the Blackout show, and blackout equals 386. That means that from the day that Roman Reigns lost his championship, 386 days forward, is the blackout in Spain. You guys, give me a mind blown or a thumbs up in the chat if you guys are understanding how perfect that is. That is on point. All right, that is crazy. Like, you're talking about, and I'm going to prove the point even more. You guys might be asking me, why is wrestling so connected to blackouts? Well, remember, wrestling had a match a few years ago called the Pitch Black match. Right here, the Pitch Black match. All right. And then you have this clear connection between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes in Philadelphia. I mean, that's perfect. 386 days after he won the championship, the Blackout show happens. 386 days after he lost the championship, the Blackout in Spain. And Blackout equals 386. Okay? And we're just using one cipher here. We're not using any other ciphers. We're just using the Latin cipher. But why is this match so important to the Blackout? Because it connects back to Philadelphia. Look at this. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, which I just showed you is perfectly connected to the Blackouts. It happened in Philadelphia in the stadium of the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles posted this video on November. I've talked about this on my channel numerous times. They posted this video called "The Blackout is Commencing." The Philadelphia Eagles, the same stadium where these two fought for the championship that connects with this blackout. 386 days ago, they fought in Philadelphia for the championship, and blackout equals 386. Okay. And then this team that they fought in the stadium of, they released a video called "The Blackout is Commencing." And here's the slobber knocker, guys. This next slide is going to bring this all together. Why this is so important. Because yesterday, on the day of the blackout in Spain, the Philadelphia Eagles were at the White House. Trump is the blackout, guys. Trump is the blackout. Okay? The team that posted "The Blackout is Commencing" was at the White House yesterday. The same day as the blackout in Spain, which connects to the blackout connection with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes in Philadelphia. So what are the chances that the Eagles showed up at the White House yesterday to celebrate their championship win this year? And this is the only team to post "The Blackout is Commencing," guys. The Philadelphia Eagles, they posted this. Yeah, a blackout is not just a power outage, guys. It's a death can be a blackout. You black out, you go unconscious. But the Philadelphia Eagles, they visit the White House. The Philadelphia Eagles posted "The Blackout is Commencing." This all happens when Spain goes into a blackout. Now, remember, this happened in Philadelphia. So 85 weeks between the release of "The Blackout is Commencing" to the Philadelphia match between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, which, again, I already connected to this. So if you guys are just getting in, you guys might be like, why is he making this random connection? Because it's all connected to Philadelphia, okay? And again, what's the chances that 85 weeks after the Philadelphia Eagles posted "The Blackout is Commencing," this match happened in Philadelphia that's connected to the blackout? 85 weeks, guys. Blackout, 85. Also, look at this. From the day the Eagles posted "The Blackout is Commencing" to the blackout in Spain and the day that the Eagles were at the White House, 888 days. Wow. 888 days. The blackout is commencing to the blackout in Spain. And the Eagles were at the White House with Donald J. Trump, which equals, what does that equal, guys? You guys know. Donald J. Trump. Oh, he equals 888. Right? The Eagles were at the White House 888 days after they posted the blackout is commencing. Okay? Donald J. Trump, 888. The blackout in Spain, 888 days after. Okay? Wow. And remember, the Pope just died at 88. Trump equals 88. Donald J. Trump equals 888. I mean, there's so many eights with Trump. I could go over them all, but calm before the storm statement was 888 days before the P word declaration. Yep. But look at this. The title of their video was called The Blackout is Commencing. What does that equal in gematria, guys? That equals 127. Guys, from the day they posted The Blackout is Commencing to the day of the blackout in Spain, exactly 127 weeks. The blackout is commencing equals 127. Yeah, this is the exact phrase they posted. The blackout is commencing. And the 127 also points us back to 9/11, because what buildings fell on 9/11, 2001? Buildings 1, 2, and 7 fell on 9/11, 2001. When was Pearl Harbor? The other attack. Pearl Harbor, the other attack on the United States, was on 1/12/7, 127, right? So this 127 code is very important, but at any rate, the blackout is commencing equals 127. They posted this 127 weeks exactly before the blackout. And now, just to go back to the Cody Rhodes thing, remember, I already made this connection between Cody Rhodes winning the championship connected with the Philadelphia blackout, okay, and how it connects to this. But remember, I did a video this year on Cody Rhodes and blackouts. So this is absolutely telling, guys. I posted this video on March 14th, 2025, and look at the Spain flag there, guys. Can anyone deny that this is a Spanish flag right here in my video? And this is Cody Rhodes right here. So here's Cody Rhodes. Here's a Spanish flag. I posted it on March 14th. That same day, before I even knew there was going to be a blackout in Cuba, there was a blackout in Cuba the same day I made this. Now, how does Spain connect to Cuba? Well, Spain colonized Cuba. Spain claimed the island in 1492 when Christopher Columbus arrived there. So on Pi Day, there was a blackout in Cuba, the whole country. And where was Cody Rhodes on the same day that Cuba went black? Well, first of all, Cody Rhodes is Cuban. So the same day that Cody Rhodes was in Spain, there was a Cuban blackout, okay? Well, where was Cody Rhodes? Yeah, where was Cody Rhodes on March 14th when his home country blacked out? On March 14th, 2025, WWE held a SmackDown in Spain, marking the first time the show has ever been broadcast from there. Guys, that was the first time ever that WWE was in Spain and there was a blackout in Cuba, where Cody Rhodes' mother is from. What happened after that? I made a video called Cut the Lights, Nation Without Power, with the Cuban flag and Cody Rhodes right there, okay? So you guys understand this Pi Day blackout in Cuba was clearly connected to the Spain. Like, how can you even doubt this? Why was Cody Rhodes in Spain when there was a blackout in his home country of Cuba? And now you get a blackout in Spain. I mean, it's just undeniable. And remember, when Cody Rhodes showed up in Spain on March 14th, the wrestler who was against him, I know this guy's is very blurry, guys, but the wrestler who was against him was saying cut, 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 while Cody Rhodes' lyrics were the lights in his lyrics, the wrestler was saying cut, 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 like cut the lights, right? So this was at the same time that they were cutting the lights in Cuba. Right here, widespread power outage in Cuba leaves millions in the dark. So is this not the most obvious connection? Like, I already explained to you how Cody Rhodes was clearly connected to the Philadelphia win in the blackout, right, with Roman Reigns. But now you have Cody Rhodes in Spain for the first time ever, and there's a blackout in his home country of Cuba, and Spain colonized Cuba. And now look at this. From the day that Cody Rhodes was in Spain and the day that Cuba blacked out, here's my video, 3/14/2025, to the blackout in Spain, from Cuba blackout to Spain blackout, 45 days, guys. Look, Spain blackout, 45. Look at this. They were in Spain 45 days before, and then Cuba blacked out, and the gematria Spain blackout equals 45. 45 days later, Spain blacks out. And why is this 45 so important to the 9/11/2025 connection? Look at this. Let me make this bigger. Guys, in mathematics, the number 45. So there's been 45 days between the two blackouts this year. Guys, the year 2025 is a product of 45 times 45. That equals 2025. What's even more amazing is the product of 45 times 45 times 45 is 91125. I mean, wow. This whole decode started out talking about 9/11. Remember, this blackout happened 12:33 weeks after 9/11 at 12:33 local time. It all connected to the 77, which is connected to 9/11. It connected to the show 911, the blackout, right? And now, 45 days after the Cuban blackout, the Spain blackout happens. Spain blackout 45. But what makes this even more interesting is the year 2025 is 45 times 45, and 45 times 45 times 45 literally gives you the date 9/11/25. You know what we should do? We should take one of Widow's son's methods, and we should measure from the date 4/5/45 to see where it lines up with 9/11/25. I'm just doing a quick experiment. If you guys don't know Widow's son, let's go from the year go from the date 4/5/45. I'm just experimenting here because I think this is interesting. But let's go to 9/11/25. Let's just see. But either way, guys, the importance of this is that it seems that the year 2025 is all about the 45, because 45 times 45 is 2025. And actually, guys, you're going to have to give me 1 second. My computer is going to die. I didn't charge my computer before I started this. I might have to get up and grab my charger cord and plug my computer in. Otherwise, I'm going to lose you guys in the middle of the stream. Okay, guys, give me 2 minutes. I'll just keep this slide up for you guys so you guys can see. And we got more to talk about, because this isn't all of it. This is my last slide, but I got more I want to talk about. So give me 2 minutes, guys. Don't leave. I'll be back. All right, hold on, everyone. I'm still here. Just give me a second. Sorry about this. I have to change everything up here. Oh, man, I'm in trouble. Are you guys still with me there? My computer cord is not long enough to reach where I'm sitting. So I don't know what I'm going to do here. Hold on a second. This is my fault for not planning this better. All right, there we go. Where there's a will, there's a way, guys. You always figure it out. I figured it out. But yeah, that was not smart of me not to charge my computer before I started. All right, so anyways, guys, what do you think about that? 9/11, the number 45 times 45 times 45 equals 9/11/25. That's the date. And this, I think this all points us back to 9/11, you know? So yeah, I almost had a power outage. That would have been crazy if my computer powered down when I was in the middle of this stream. All right. So now remember, we've had hey, Sean, a widow's son, are you still in the chat? Did anyone make any connections with Leave the World Behind? Because I didn't get a chance to do that, but remember this song called What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down? Sean, didn't you I thought sorry, man, I saw you sent me a message, but I was super zonked out this morning and forgot to answer or even read it, but it was 507 days after Leave the World Behind. Okay, yeah. All right, good one. All right, so which date for Leave the World Behind though? The 12/8 date? Let me just look. Yeah, okay, so the blackout in Spain was 507 days after Leave the World Behind. Let me just type that in. Of course, Leave the World Behind was about a blackout, essentially. And 507 days after that release, you get the blackout. Well, the Pope just blacked out, and his name was Pope Francis. And Pope Francis, what cipher does he equal 507? Where? Oh, right here, satanic. So satanic in satanic gematria, Pope Francis equals 507. It was 507 days from leave the world behind to the so 507 is 3 times 13 times 13. That's the day. This light, okay, somebody says light outage equals 507. That's interesting. That's interesting. I'm not saying that's proper way to say it, but that is interesting. I think we can say that's pretty interesting. You get a light outage. I don't know if I've ever heard it called a light outage, but that's interesting. A light outage, 507 days after leave the world behind. Somebody's also saying in the chat that the Pope dies equals 507. Okay. We're getting a bit experimental here, but oh, the Pope dies. Yeah, the Pope dies equals 507. Okay. Wait, the Pope dies equals Pope Francis. What the heck? Look at this. What is this? Like, this is funny, man. What is that? The Pope dies equals Pope Francis. Guys, that's a 3 out of 4 cipher match. The Pope dies equals Pope Francis. So that means that the word Francis equals the dies. Huh. I don't know. That's weird. The Pope dies equals Pope Francis. What the world? Huh. Anyway. And then it equals 507, which we were just talking about because 507 is the amount of days since leave the world behind. Pope Francis and the Pope dies both equal 507. Yeah, that's great. That's interesting. I wouldn't say we're using the best words there. I'm not like as excited about that because, the Pope dies. You could say that. It would be nice if I saw it in an article, if they used it in the news, then I would be even more, but it's still interesting. So, but remember when the Pope died, it was on Melania Trump's birthday. And again, I have a whole decode for you guys about the Pope's funeral. So Melania means black or dark. Okay, so the Pope was buried. He went under the ground where it's dark when on Melania Trump's birthday, and Melania equals black, means black or dark. Okay. So there's this whole theme right now with the blackout, a dark one. Remember, Trump is like the, you show Trump with the eclipse. Right here. So this is like the dark one eclipsing the sun, right? I truly think that Trump gets, conflated with the dark one, the black one, okay? Because his wife, her name means black, okay? So just think about it. His wife's name means black. His name is, he's calls himself the chosen one. So if you combine them together, you could say he's the black chosen one, right? So, did anyone look into I find it interesting also that it was 1 year, 20 weeks, and 1 day from Leave the World Behind to the Blackout 2001, like 201. But there's also this show called Revolution. And Revolution is about a blackout as well. Now, if you go from the release date of Revolution, September 17th, 2012. So yeah, from September 17th, 2012 to the blackout in Spain was exactly 156 moon phases. Well, what's the reason what that's important? Well, 156 exactly, right? 156, 9/11, right? 9/11 is the 156 prime. So you get that span of exactly 156 lunar phases from Revolution, which again is about electrical blackout. But it's also, if you measure it in weeks or months, it's 151 months and 11 days. Well, what's that, guys? 151 is power outage. Let me show you. Power outage equals 151. And the show was called Revolution. Whoops, if you spell that right. The show was called Revolution, which equals 151. And this has been a big number in the past week with John Cena and Cody Rhodes and the WrestleMania in Vegas. That was a big number I talked about. But look at this. They said that there was a power outage 151 weeks after the show Revolution, or months after Revolution came out. And Revolution equals 151, like power outage. And they said this was at the continental Europe synchronous area, which equals 151. Also, the phrase nuclear power equals 151. In fact, I have a huge decode coming out probably tomorrow about the nuclear connection to the Pope. I didn't even get a chance to put it out, guys, because I was busy traveling, but raise your hand in the chats if you guys still want to see that decode, if I'm not too far behind. You guys still want to see the Pope's blackout or the Pope's nuclear funeral, because I really think that there's a whole nuclear thing here, and nuclear power equals 151, right? I'm just wondering if you guys, or if nuclear power will be part of like the revolution. Look, nuclear power equals revolution. So I don't know. But yeah, this happened at the Central Europe synchronous area, continental Europe synchronous area. In case you guys don't know what that is, it's this right here, continental Europe synchronous area. Thank you guys for raising the hands. Appreciate you. So tomorrow, hopefully I'll get a chance to do the Pope's nuclear funeral, okay? And, you know, there's probably a lot more to connect here, but I just wanted to make this connection with revolution because the 151 is interesting. So how else does this connect with the 151? Well, if you go from, so this song, and this song is something we should definitely look more into. It's called What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down by Public Enemy. So this song was released on September 25th, 2012. Oh, no, sorry, September 25th, 2020. So What You're Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down was released on September 25th. If you go from the blackout yesterday to September 25th, look how many days it is, guys. 4 months and 28 days. I mean, wow. You get a power outage 4 months and 28 days before what you're going to do when the grid goes down comes out. And this power outage happened on the date 4/28. On top of that, if you measure this in days, from the blackout yesterday, the power outage yesterday, to what you're going to do when the grid goes down was 151 days. Well, what I just show you, power outage 151. So this was clearly synced also with what you're going to do when the grid goes down. And let me just look real fast how many days it was after the release of this. Oh, it was 1,677 days. So you get a 77 in there again. Remember, yesterday had 77 date numerology. It was 77 days before the anniversary of the 1977 blackout in New York. So yeah, from what you're going to do when the grid goes down to yesterday, 1,677 days. That's interesting. And what's interesting about the number 1677, if you go one more day forward, 1678, well, that's actually a composite number. 1977 composite number is 1678. So that means today is 1678 days after what you're going to do when the grid goes down, which connects us to the 1977 power outage, which I showed you in my slides right here, the 1977 New York power outage. So again, 1678 days from what you're going to do when the grid goes down. 1678 is the 1977, the year is the 1678 composite. So that could be also something to watch for. And remember, we also had the death of Jimmy Carter this year. He was president in 1977. Elvis Presley is connected to this. He died in 1977. In fact, let's take a measurement from Elvis Presley's death. You guys might be wondering why I'm talking about Elvis Presley. Well, it's because Elvis Presley is definitely connected to a lot of things. Oh, remember Elvis Presley's daughter had a song called Lights Out. Ah, that's right. Lisa Marie Presley, Lights Out. So yeah, Lights Out is a song by American singer Lisa Marie Presley, Capitol Records. Released on February 10th. Oh, look at that, guys. February 10th. So, wow, okay, I see. So the anniversary of her song Lights Out was on February 10th, 2025. If you go from that day to the power outage, it was 77 days. Her dad died in 1977. She did a song called Lights Out, and it was 77 days after the anniversary of Lights Out. Right here, February 10th. Look at that. The B-side to this song, Lights Out, was called Savior. But yeah, Lisa Marie Presley, Lights Out, 77 days before the 77 date numerology. And that was 77 days before the 1977 blackout. And Elvis Presley, the dad of Lisa Marie, died in 1977. I wonder how. Hold on. Let's see how many days Elvis was died after the blackout in 1977. Hold on. Okay, it was 34 days. Elvis Presley died. Wait, no. Elvis Presley died 33 days after the blackout. Okay. Elvis Presley died 33 days after the blackout. Wow. And yesterday was 33 days after the 1028 days remaining ended. I see. And look, this date numerology of the blackout in 77 was 11/7. 11 times 7 is 77. Let's see how many days it was after Lisa Marie Presley's death. I didn't expect to be talking about Lisa Marie Presley, but I think it's really important. So Lisa Marie, she died on January 12th, 2023. Sorry, guys. I told you I didn't have enough time to put these slides together. So, okay. So the blackout happened 216, like 2 years, 106 days, 2106, 216. That's like 6 times 6 times 6. Elvis Aaron Presley equals 216. Interesting. It happened 15 weeks and 1 day after she died, after her anniversary of her death, which again, that's power outage 151. But again, she had a song called Lights Out, so it's not so far-fetched. Oh yeah, Lights Out. Yeah, that's right. She died on 112, and her song called Lights Out equals 112. So that you cannot tell me that the phrase blackout or lights out is not also about death. It is about death. But yeah, guys, does anyone else have any observations that I might have missed? Again, I was traveling all yesterday. I know this isn't the most comprehensive decode. I know there's more with Leave the World Behind. I really need to look more into Leave the World Behind too. Joseph, have you had a chance to look into Leave the World Behind? Yeah, I don't know, guys. I think there was maybe one other thing I wanted to talk about. And the whole Spain thing, I still haven't quite figured out, the Jesuit connection. Let's see what Kingdom of Spain equals, because it's also known as Kingdom of Spain. Yeah, please hit those like buttons, guys. I appreciate that. As Sojourn said in the chat, that helps the algorithm. Well, Kingdom of Spain equals 225. We're in the year 2025. But the whole Spain thing, the gematria, there isn't really anything there. Well, Spain does equal 85 in capitals, and the word blackout equals 85. So that's interesting. Spain equals 85 in capitals. Blackout equals 85. This in regards to the snake year, let's see something. Hold on. When's the snake year end next year? Because remember, I told you in the beginning of the decode, the year of the snake is often about blackouts. So let's see. When is the end date for the year of the snake? February 16th, 2026. Hold on. So the year of the snake is going to end in lunation 1275. Jesus Christ equals 1275. Oh, Jesus Christ also, look at this. And this all connects to Jesus Christ, guys. Look, Jesus Christ equals power outage. You see that? And I told you that Roman reigns was 16 days reign, and from the blackout 911 to the blackout yesterday was 16. That's Jesus Christ in gematria. What was I going to do? Oh, the snake. Okay, hold on. Okay, so this blackout occurred 42 weeks before the snake year ended. Huh. Interesting. Today is 294 days before. Man, today is such a big day. Today is the 119th day of the year, guys. See that? I talked about this because, this blackout actually happened 9 years and 11 months after the One World Trade Center Observatory went up. You see this here? If you include the end date from the opening of the One World Observatory to yesterday was 119 months or 9 years, 11 months. So this probably is connected to that decode I did about the One World Trade Center. Because, it's been 9 years, 11 months since the observatory was put up. Widow's son says in the chat that España equals 266. And the Pope that just died was the 266 Pope. Yeah, that's a good one. España equals 266. Pope Francis with the 266 Pope. I saw a 266 on a license plate today. That's funny. Decoding with Cody, did you mention Israel's 77th independence? Wait, is it? They're going to turn 77? That's right. Hold on. Yeah, that's right. So they're going to turn 77 years old on May 14th. Well, that's probably a big part of this. They're about ready to turn 77 years old. And notice this happened on the 14th, right? 7 plus 7 is 14. A lot of 77s, but so this happened. This happened 16 days before Israel's 77th birthday. 1 plus 6 is 7. Yeah. 1977, was the year of the snake. I already covered that. Yep. Yeah, EMP. That I mean, there's other gematria we could look at here too. You got EMP, but we don't know what it is. Did they even say what this was? What caused this? But I did want to make a measurement from the year the snake starting to the. Oh, look at that. 2 months and 30 days from the year the snake to the blackout. I believe Spain equals 230. Yeah, look. Spain equals 230. It was 230, 2 months and 30 days from the snake year. So that's interesting. Spain has that gematria of 230. But doesn't Spain equal alien? Yeah, Spain equals alien. So I did a decode about this last month. Spain and alien. Yeah, the whole Spain thing, there's got to be more to this. There's got to be more to Spain, man. I mean, of course, we know already. We talked about how Ignatius of Loyola founded the Jesuits. He was from Spain. I mean, Spanish is like the second most spoken language in the world, I would guess. So you got this Spanish thing. The 602, I don't know what you guys are talking about in the chat, Joseph. I also covered the 602. Maybe he's getting you confused with me. The 602 was a huge part of the Pope's death, yeah. Dark Sky Week, huh? Somebody says in the chat. Yeah, I covered the 206 for sure. Or the 602, I covered that for sure. 100% covered that in my last video. Cody, the European blackout was on the last day of Dark Sky Week. What the heck is Dark Sky Week? Let's look this up. Dark Sky Week. International Dark Sky Week 2025 is an annual event taking place on April 21st to the 28th. Guys, this is crazy. Look at this. In Dark Sky Week, you had the death of the Pope, the funeral of the Pope, and the blackout in Spain, all in Dark Sky Week. Wow. I mean, that's crazy, guys. Think about that. Dark Sky Week. The Pope died on the first day of Dark Sky Week, and then there was a blackout on the last day of Dark Sky Week. It's a global initiative to raise awareness about light pollution and the effects, promoting responsible outdoor lighting and preserving dark skies. Okay, this is, again, thank you guys so much for your observations, because this is crazy. Dark Sky Week equals what? Dark Sky Week equals president and government and White House and authority, equals Roman reigns. I already talked about Roman reigns. Dark Sky Week. Let's just see what dark sky equals. Oh, wow, look. Dark Sky has that 595. Hey, Widow's Son, you in here? Wow. Dark Sky equals 595. Yeah, I never heard of Dark Sky Week ever until now. Discover the Night. darkskyweek.org. International Dark Sky Week 2025 invites the world to discover and protect the night. I mean, this is just wild to me because, you know, the Pope dies on the first day of this. And then there's a blackout on the last day. Like, come on now. There's always lots of good comments. Thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. Hello to Shy. Shyla's in the chat. Shyla means Philadelphia. Much love to you. Who else is in the chat? Let's see what you guys. David Bowie released a song called Blackout as part of his album Heroes on October 14th, 77. Okay. October 14th, 77, huh? Well, from now on, we're going to know next year about this Dark Sky Week. And dark sky equals 595. And this is a huge Sirius number. But it equals 89 also. I mean, there's a lot I could say about this, but Dark Sky Week. Oh yeah, I wanted to look into the David Bowie thing. Hold on. Oh yeah, Sean, I see you're in the chat finally. You reacting to it. Dark Sky Week. So Sean, did you catch that? The Pope died on the first day of Dark Sky Week, and there was a blackout on the last day of Dark Sky Week. His funeral was also during Dark Sky Week, and dark sky equals 595. And Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky. You guys get it? Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky, the dark sky. Strong's concordance for 798. Let's look that up. I'll get to the David Bowie thing in a second too. Hold on. I need to look more into the president of Spain. Strong's 798. Oh, nice. Strong's 798 is star. Huh. Dark Sky Week equals 798. Huh. And it's got that 595. And in case you guys don't understand why the 595 is so important, it's a Sirius number. Sirius the dog star. But yeah, dark sky 595. Let's see what dark night equals. Remember, this was all connected to the Dark Knight. Batman, the Dark Knight. Oh, Dark Knight equals 151. Power outage. The Dark Knight. Oh, the Dark Knight equals 602. We were just talking about that number. But okay, let me check this David Bowie thing so we can get covered all this. So yeah, good one with the Strongs. David Bowie. Blackout. Of course, this was a 1977 song. I mean, out of everything I just talked about today, this song came out in 1977. All right, so October 14, 1977, Blackout. So it was exactly 588 moon phases from Blackout song. So it was the start of the 589th lunar phase. Donald Trump equals 589. What I also find interesting is it was 196 days. It's 47 years, 196 days after Blackout by David Bowie. 196 is 14 times 14. Oh, and 196 is the 151 composite number. Okay. So yeah, guys, I mean, these numbers, you guys know how these numbers are. They can go in circles forever. I mean, numbers are so connected, you can, now you're back to the 155 number or the 151 number. And I got there from the 196, which the 196 was the days after the David Bowie Blackout, which again, I talked about the 151 already. So I don't want to look at this. It was also 40. Look at that. Guys, Blackout came out by David Bowie, came out exactly 47 years and 6 months and 14 days after the release of David Bowie's song, The Blackout. Guys, that's Trump. Trump is the 47th president, and he's born on 6/14. So yeah, that's pretty crazy there. Trump equals 47. Trump's the 47th president, born on June 14th, Flag Day. All right, so okay, guys, we're gonna start wrapping this up. Thank you to the 180 of you who have hit the like button. Thank you to the 199 of you who are still watching this live. We've kind of calmed down now. The connections are kind of dwindling. So now is a good time to call it a stream. And I'm tired, I drove, just to end the stream, let me explain. I drove 14 hours in a bus yesterday and then had to get on a train for another hour and then had to get in a car for another 20 minutes to get home. So my trip yesterday was driving in cars and trains for a sum total of about 16 hours. So the fact that I was even able to get up today and go with my girlfriend to get groceries and even still put together a decode for you guys is pretty remarkable. I'm surprised I had the energy for that. I don't know how I had the energy to do this still tonight, but I wanted to get this video out for you guys. I wanted to put something out, so I had something to talk about with, and the blackouts, I can't resist the blackouts. I talk about those often. But the main point is, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are great. Thank you guys for always watching my videos, even when they're sucky and horrible. Sometimes they're not the greatest. This one wasn't bad, especially not for like only an hour and a half worth of research. But good night to all of you. I'm in Germany, so to most of you guys are still going to be up most of the day, but I'm going to bed. And with that being said, much love to you all, and we'll see you guys very soon in the next video. God bless.